you're looking for a digger or something even bigger, like a 7-ton crane or a tunnel cleaning train or a big turntable to enable you to cable or a wagon full of stone, just get on the telephone. Transplant, if you're working on the jack. Transplant, we'll bring stuff there or we'll bring it back. Transplant, all you need to do is call. Transplant will organize it all. If you need a generator or something even greater, if you're ever in a pinch when you're working with the winch, it's a cinch when you know to use a Transplant Pro. So no matter what the task, all you gotta do is ask. Transplant, if you're working on the jack. Transplant, we'll bring stuff there or we'll bring it back. Transplant, all you need to do is call. Transplant will organize it all.
Every night across the London Underground network there is a wide variety of track renewals and infrastructure maintenance activities. Every one of them different. Different locations, different activities, different materials, but every one of them has the same thing in common: the nightly 4-hour work window. Just 4 hours available to carry out any track work and restore it to the line for the morning. Any time waiting for materials is time wasted, so you need someone you can trust to get it there. You need Transplant. Every night we'll deliver many different train formations to site, and if a section of the railway is closed, we'll be sending trains to and from site over an entire weekend. If an emergency arises, a last-minute hitch or a late change, we'll cope. We're dedicated to keeping the deliveries running efficiently and on time, every time. We've over 320 staff with depots at Ruislip and Lillie Bridge. We own most of the specialist equipment you need to work on the railway, or we can get it in for you, and we can even store your specialist plant and deliver it to site when you need it. Train formation assembly takes place all day. Wagon by wagon, your materials and plant are gathered together in the correct order for you to work. Transplant knows every inch of the railway, every bridge and every restricted access. This is one of our 4 Elk wagons, and it's needed to deliver short rails to site tonight. Equipment maintenance is high priority in this business, and if we send it to a job, we know it will be in prime working order before it goes out. If you were lifting or laying rails in the deep level tube, then instead of this Elk, you'd need our short winch end loading unit for the job. If you were laying cables of any type, or even fibre optics, then you'd need one of our 6 purpose-built cable wagons. The 7.5-ton crane helps to load the formation before it goes out to site. We can provide a crane supervisor as well as a skilled operator if it will help. 2 wagons of short rails and the twin-jib track relaying machine for this job, and again, just to make sure, a test before the loco pulls away. Now we are talking about delivering long rails, 90 metres long, made on site in the adjacent workshop. They're loaded at Ruislip on the long welded rail train. The long railer plus our skilled team of on-site materials handlers will unload each 5-ton length to your site. A final check of the water wagon to make sure that's full before the equipment goes out to site. The Unimog shunter needs not much more than a change of gear to go from road to rail, and on the back a compressor and generator pack for on-site power. This Atlas roll loader is working for its living before taking its place on the train formation to go to site. doing anything like this on the track and you'll need ballast. Ballast by the quarryful. Most of it is graded granite. Some of it is brought in by road, the rest is brought in via our network rail link at Ruislip. This is a twice-weekly delivery. Transplant will probably deliver this stone mountain and a similar amount of sand to sites around the network every weekend. On their way out, these wagons will take away the dirty ballast for recycling. You see, Transplant aren't just here to help you start the job. We'll fill the empty wagons with your spoil to help you clear the site and bring back anything you no longer need, following, of course, with care, the relevant waste management legislation. For a weekend shutdown, Transplant will provide its fleet of engineers trains to deliver to site a variety of materials and specialist plant and equipment. Specialist plant, once unloaded on site, will rip out with ease the old track formation, ballast, sleepers, rails and entire track panels, loading the waste onto the waiting fleet of general purpose wagons and spoil and ballast wagons. Then, with fresh deliveries arriving over the entire course of the day, the foundations and drainage will be laid before adding hoppers full of fresh, clean ballast, followed by concrete sleepers and new rails, previously delivered to the site by the long welded rail train. Transplant's 3 plain line tamping machines work all year round on both track renewal sites at the weekend and during the week doing general maintenance tamping where minor track geometry faults are corrected. As the tamping machine moves between sleepers, 3 separate activities are taking place. The clamps clasp the rail on either side and hydraulically apply predetermined pressure on 2 planes, the horizontal and the vertical. Whilst in the grip of the clamps, the tines are squeezing the loose ballast into the voids created to ensure the track does not resettle into its old profile. Dirt in the tunnels is the root cause of dirt and dust that accumulates in the station environment. Our tunnel cleaning train will vacuum up all the heavy litter accumulating down the track and remove all the loose dust from the track ballast or shingle. Our weed killing train assists the railway in its ongoing problem with vegetation control, currently spraying throughout the spring and summer seasons, covering all open sections of the network. Now, Transplant don't just deliver track materials. For any station works you are carrying out, Transplant can deliver to site the right materials and equipment for any job of any size. Building materials, mechanical and electrical equipment, generators for your on-site power needs, scaffolding, hoardings, lifting equipment. Absolutely anything you need to complete your station maintenance and refurbishment projects. Meanwhile, back at the depot, the loading goes on. New wooden sleepers, concrete sleepers, whacker plates, drainage pipes, generators, and we can supply many more items of specialist rail plant from our own Specialist Plant Services. Large stocks of small tools, plant and equipment, everything carefully delivered. And when your team are working in the wet and cold, we can also supply a bit of comfort and relief.
Escalators, drainage pipes, insulators, long rails, short rails, anything your job entails. Whacker plates, roll skips, rail pads, panel clips, sand balance, cable wheels, punching rods, and nails, steel. You my locals. L.
What's the L?
Transplant. If you work it on the track. Transplant. We'll bring stuff there or we'll bring it back. Transplant. All you need to do is call. Transplant will organize it all.
Tonight we'll be working on the number 1 platform westbound between Arnos Grove and Southgate. Behind you is the new innovative machine from Sweden, the Disab Balasucker. This is the only machine of its kind in this country, and tube lines are lucky enough to own it. I'll explain the process of how the machine works later on. Having had the safety briefing at the platform and defined the limit, we have now arrived at site, and the guys are going to split the train, and then you'll see the actual work pan out. The Disab arm is prepared, ready. When you see the arm working now, what we do is we take out 4 wet beds. We never take out any more in case there's problems with the crane or the Disab arm. 4 wet beds, and these guys can fill that by hand, so there's no overrun. I'll show you the journey the ballast does now and explain to you the rest of the Disab machine. Follow me. Behind the control panel we've got the hopper section. The hopper section is where the degraded ballast goes. This will hold 17.5 tons, which is the equivalent of between 12 and 14 wet beds. This is the filtration unit which sits behind the hopper section, and this makes sure that there's no pollutants that contaminate the atmosphere. On the second wagon we have the 6 vacuum diesel engines, and the very last one, the 7th one, is the one that uses the power for the lights and the manipulator arm itself. The Disab arm has now sucked out 4 wet beds in 15 minutes in hard conditions, and now the spick will check for depth before we put the tiram underneath.
So it's 350 millimetres.
Now the waterproof membrane's been installed, we'll start to infill with a crane the new fresh ballast. As you've just witnessed, you've seen the fourth bed being consolidated with ballast. As the lads have been doing that, further two wet beds have been sucked out. We'll just show you the crane setup. It's a 350 litre bucket. What he's doing now is he's bringing ballast from the back car to the front car. Another use for the D-sub is while the guys are filling in now and packing the 4 wet beds we previously sucked out. If you follow me, we'll show you how we can take out catch pits and make sure the drainage is clear so that the wet beds don't return. As you can see, this is made up with slurry and thick mud. Watch how we suck this clear. As you can see, another good night on the pick line. There's 8 beds being completed tonight in hard conditions. Now you'll see the train recoupling and we go back to Arnos Grove. This machine has far more potential than just wet beds. You've seen some of its abilities tonight with the catch pit. We are in the process of re-sleepering now, a dry slip. That will be weekend work. We're looking into P's and C's and drainage work. So this machine is limitless in what it can achieve.
Tube lines and Metronet are required to maintain their assets in a safe condition and assure London Underground that this is the case. Transplant provide a very specialised track condition and performance monitoring service to enable them to manage the assets in an economical but safe manner. The group utilises advanced technology via our track recording vehicle, which measures track geometry deficiencies. Also, our ultrasonic rail floor detection teams inspect every inch of the rails for rail defects. Here you can see that using the Sperry Roller Search Unit, a major rail defect has been found by the teams and clearly marked up for removal. Transplant, in conjunction with Sperry, have now introduced an automated Land Rover-based system for ultrasonic testing, on their way to the ultimate goal of a train-based system. Behind this classic Georgian facade, in the early hours of the morning, our specialist industrial cleaning team are starting work cleaning the Underground's network of areas of limited access. Ventilation shafts, cable shafts, lift shafts, platform inverts and disused station areas. These areas are essential to the safe and efficient operation of London Underground's passenger services. In many cases, these shafts provide ventilation and air pressure relief whilst others provide routing for vital power and communication cables. They can also assist you with material delivery via the ventilation shaft network, as these staff have advanced scaffolding skills and can erect access platforms and rigging systems for your material deliveries. They are all trained for working at heights and in confined spaces, and have the specialist skills to work within the difficult and challenging environment associated with these assets. The work of these specialist cleaning teams directly supports the Infracos in delivering satisfactory asset availability and station ambience targets. Working on or about the railway infrastructure requires access to plants, tools and equipment, some of it very specialised and specific to the London Underground railway environment. Transplant's Specialist Plant Services is essentially a plant hire company supplying products and services to anyone working on the railway. We have over 7,000 items of specialist plant ranging from trolley-mounted scaffolding to bandsaws, iron men, track trolleys, escalator trolleys, generators of all sizes, drills, impact wrenches, jacks and lifting equipment, and if we don't have it in stock, we'll get it for you. In fact, we will deliver and collect absolutely any item of plant you require, and we can guarantee that any item on hire from us is fully plant approved by our resident plant approvals team. Maintenance of all items is undertaken in-house. Statutory testing and testing to company and London Underground standards is also undertaken both for the equipment we own and also the equipment the customer owns where they require this service. And of course, there's the Bants motorised trolley, now fully plant approved and available for hire.